now. But look, I kind of liked, but also didn't like Thor Ragnarok. I feel the first part was the best one. I even think the second part is better than Ragnarok. But Ragnarok had a lot of interesting changes, and they increased his scale and scope of what that universe can be like. So there are some interesting stuff in Ragnarok, but I didn't vibe with the whole making it a parody of Thor thing, where they're just making fun of him and all that. So I didn't like that part. But there was a lot of stuff like, Asgard, the whole Asgard being blown and all that. The Ragnarok monster was cool. So my I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't like it too much. But this trailer just looks like it will be even better than Ragnarok, and it feels like it will be more Taika Waititi than the previous one, which I feel is a good thing. I know a lot of people might not like that thing, but I do feel that when his um, balance is set, like, his comedic parts and his emotional parts, if they are in balance, I feel that the product is pretty good. Like Jojo Rabbit is a pretty good example. There was his vampire movie that I saw, and there was this hunt for the wilder people that was also pretty good. So not everything he does is comedy. So, and his Mandalorian episode, that was also pretty good, one of the best. So I do think that with this movie he'll bring that balance. But speaking from the trailer, I really liked, firstly, the look of the movie. I like how it's so weird. There's a flying boat. His costume is completely changed. There's a different feel to it. I don't know. I just cannot describe it well, but it feels more in line with the Guardians of the Galaxy type of space thing, than it than to Ragnarok, for to say the least. But I did like that, and I feel like we are going to get some new things, and I hope that this movie is good, because this will definitely be, for me, the making or breaking point for wanting more Taika Thor movies. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I loved the song that was in the trailer. This is probably the best song choice that Marvel ever did. So maybe that also has a positive effect on me liking the trailer. But I do like the visuals as well, and I'm excited to seeing it.
Yeah, look, I love Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was never really interested in Thor as a character. Like I liked him in the Avenger movies. I was never too interested to check out really his solo movies. I watched them like not really for me the way he talks and stuff like that. And but like when Thor Ragnarok came out, it was like a U-turn of the character. It was more comedic. It was more kind of more fun in a way. The music choices as well, his comedic timing. Chris Hemsworth's brilliant at comedy, so they've implemented that. I think maybe in a way he was probably the best part of the female Ghostbusters movie. He was very funny in that. Maybe that's what led to Marvel kind of looking at him more of a comedic character in the MCU. And I know people have used kind of when I said I love Thor Ragnarok and I love this newer version of Thor. Like after Thor Ragnarok and after Infinity War, Thor was probably one of my favorite Marvel MCU
Yep.
characters. And his introduction, well, his scene with him and Groot and Rocket when they go into the battle in
They're
Infinity
one
War
of the
was awesome.
best.
That was cool. The whole theater I was in was just like, whoa, yeah, this is awesome. And he had a really good storyline in that.
Yeah.
I didn't like what they did with him in Endgame, to a degree. But I just didn't like the fat Thor kind of element to it. I thought that was too over the top. I liked the actual, like his actual arc. That was interesting. But then like fat Thor, just for me, I would roll my eyes at that. But
Yeah.
people have said to me that, can you imagine if you love Batman, yeah. Could you imagine reading Batman comics and he is this like this detective, noir detective, and he's a brutal, he stops criminals and stuff like that, and then they turn him into, I don't know, like this comedic relief, this Deadpool like character or something like that. people have said that because they've completely changed Thor into this comedic character. You know, he's not
Yeah.
like the character from the comics and stuff like that, or even for the first two movies. And I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe in a way, maybe I don't know, but obviously audiences like this character, this version.
That's the thing, right? Because even though I do like the old Thor better and I want him to be like this strong Wonder Woman or Superman type character and not this, Deadpool type character, I do think that this was needed. What Taika made was needed because this franchise was dead. Like Thor 1 didn't make a lot of money and Thor 2 made even less. So he is such a great character with a great potential, and that was not being used, right? So I do understand why the renewal or reboot of Thor was needed, and his short hair look was so popular as well. Like he had the complete black suit, and that look was fantastic. So yes, even though the movie is kind of silly and weird, his reboot was needed because that movie look, that movie made over $1 billion, and this movie also feels like it will. And for the Endgame thing, he was depressed and all that. It makes sense for them to go that route, I guess, but because of that, this movie even is elevated because this arc will be him growing out of that, right? So we'll be getting back to the Thor we know and love. So that's also one element in this movie that I think is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I agree that it was needed for the franchise because, like, the MCU has built itself up to be this fun, light, comedic driven universe where this character's cool, all the banter here is awesome. Hero wins at the end of the day, and everyone goes home happy, and that's okay. It's worked for Marvel time and time again. And then when they do something different, like Eternals, it gets the lowest kind of Rotten Tomatoes score. The audience score isn't that massive, and I think Eternals is the best MCU movie because it actually takes some risks. It actually has some stakes to it, and the ending is just what exact. This is bigger than the whole MCU. You know, the massive thing inside the earth. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
and
what?
and nobody will ever address
So
that.
scary. Yeah, it's so annoying. It's so annoying because that's like, wow, that's really interesting. But hopefully they expand on that more. But like, what I'm saying is, like Thor 1 and 2 do fine, but they're not loved. They're not loved like Iron Man or Captain America or anything like that, or the Spider-Man movies. Because I think in a way, what holds it back is it's trying to tell this very serious mythological Norse mythology story with Odin and Thor and stuff like that, and the way he speaks. In a way, it can be boring to these MCU fans
Yeah.
because they're not interested in those types of stories whatsoever. If they wanted to do that, they'd watch something with Ridley Scott making it or something. You know, they're just not interested at all.
They won't
So
watch anything with Ridley Scott in it. He called
yeah,
these movies
so
boring.
yeah, Kenneth Branagh was trying to bring
Yeah.
those elements into this Thor World War 1 and 2, and it was deeper and it was a little bit darker in places as well than the rest of the MCU. But like, it just wasn't fans weren't attaching themselves to it. But then Taika Waititi comes in, he's like, okay, that's it, humor. Let's give him a haircut. Let's give him a new costume. Let's bring the Hulk in as like a comedy cop buddy,
Yeah.
movie. Let's have him cracking jokes at the villains and stuff like that. And it actually has benefited the franchise, and that's why I think the Thor Ragnarok was the first movie of a trilogy now. You know, I think he'll
Yeah.
get this one out, he'll have another one, and it's rebooted Thor in a way
Yep.
in the MCU, and I love the character now. I'm looking forward to this movie big time. I thought the trailer was a lot of fun. Lady Thor or Mighty Thor, whatever she's called, Natalie Portman coming into it. She looked pretty cool. You know, you got the goats carrying the boat, flying the boat. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The Guardians are in it. Guardians of the Galaxy are in it. That look like a very funny scene.
Christian Bale.
Thor's finding himself. And you know what? Something that might help this movie as well, because Thor is like, I need to find my purpose.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to find their purpose. So, you know, in life, and what am I supposed to do with myself? Now you can relate to your superhero who's going through something similar, like Thor. You know, so I think that this newer version of Thor has definitely added more life to the character. So yeah, I think this is the start of a trilogy. I think he'll be one of the main leaders for the Avenger movies going forward again.
Yeah. And another thing that I like about this movie in particular is the addition of the Guardians, because I love the Guardians movies. I love both those movies and I love those characters. So it's great to have that in this, them teaming up, because in Infinity War, right? When they were, or Endgame was it? When they were having that banter together. Oh yeah, it was Infinity War when Thor was meeting the Guardians on their ship and they were just going back and forth. So I love that banter between Thor and Chris Pratt's character Star Lord. So that's also gonna
Yeah.
be something exciting from this movie. So yeah, overall, I am actually interested in this movie more than I was in Ragnarok. I feel that this would be, especially after Taika made Jojo Rabbit, he wrote that movie as well. So after winning an Oscar for that movie, I feel like his writing for this movie will, be a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more serious, taking the characters a little bit more seriously than he did in Ragnarok. That's the only thing I didn't like about that movie. Otherwise, it was okay. It was pretty good. Um, but I hope that he takes the character of Thor seriously. That's the only thing I want.
Thor 3, you can say that it had a lot of humor in it, but it was also dark in a way. He lost a
Yeah,
guy. Odin died. He lost Asgard, his
Loki
daughter, who I think was
again.
killed. Yeah, and
His
yeah,
sister.
Loki died. Yeah, his sister died. It's dark in places. And actually, if you want to look at the opening to Infinity War as maybe like a epilogue to Ragnarok,
Yeah,
it gets even darker. Loki, you know,
yeah,
he dies, and then like Idris Elba's character dies as well. Like I thought there was some dark moments there. I think this one might be in a way something similar. You got Christian Bale coming in as Gore the Butcher, the God Butcherer,
yeah.
which I have faith that Christian Bale signed on because he's going to be given something pretty cool to do, and he's going to be. Oh, I hope he's one of the best MCU villains we've seen. I hope so. I hope he's not too sidelined. Maybe Christian Bale's doing it for the money. I don't know. Maybe something for his kids to watch. I don't know. But hopefully, he was given something really cool to do with this character.
In the
And
trailer, we see Thor seeing this dead, huge monster on the
yeah,
ground, and that's apparently
he's killing
killed.
gods.
Yeah, that's apparently killed by Gore.
Yeah,
So that would be
and it,
interesting.
I will say, even though Russell Crowe is in this, I think his Zeus is going to be a goofball.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a little bit stupid.
yeah,
But yeah, but look, he did a serious thing on Man of Steel. We can't attack actors for doing something fun and light, and it's a guaranteed win to be an MCU movie if it's done right. If it's not the Eternals, So,
yeah.
but I think Eternals would last longer in terms of, for me, I think Eternals will be something I look back on to years to come of the MCU than say Ant-Man or Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do appreciate that movie. Rokon says, yeah, I love the first Thor so much. The second I think is underrated. Ragnarok I don't like. Takes with it Warrior Badass. Thor that was established. Eric Patterson says, I hope Thor 4 isn't too silly.
Silly.
Yeah,
Yes, silly is the word that I would say that it shouldn't be.
yeah.
It can be funny,
Yeah,
but just don't make
yeah.
fun of Thor.
Don't be too stupid.
Yeah.
Be stupid, but don't be too stupid.
Yeah.
Rokan goes, Chris Hemsworth is a great comedic actor. He kills it on Saturday Night Live. But I do think Thor comedy works when he's a fish out of water, not the sex jokes and slapstick that we see in Endgame and Ragnarok. I'm fine with Thor's depression post Infinity War, as he should. He feels responsible. I wouldn't have gone that far. Yeah, I do like his depression in Endgame. I just don't like that they made him fat. I just don't like that part. But look, he's gonna work it off.
Yeah, he'll be working out.
He's gonna have a training montage, probably Rocky style. So that's okay. We'll get the badass buffed Thor hopefully in this new movie, and yeah, I think this movie's gonna do very well
Yep.
as well. People were looking for that trailer. I think it's the shortest span to trailer to release date that the MCU's ever done, which is interesting. They don't really do that much, and it was a big hit. The trailer, very big.
It's not even a trailer, it's a first teaser.
Yeah, true. It was only a minute and a half.
The first teaser for this movie came this late.
Yeah, that's interesting, but probably they don't want to take too much away from Doctor Strange either, and that's coming out soon, so we're looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Thor 4. I love Thor Ragnarok, so this one I'm very excited for.
Me too.